Well, this is the second video on building this clawfoot walker, designing it in Fusion. Here's where we ended up last time. I'm going to start building the legs now. We'll do them on this front side. I'm going to go up here, new component. We'll call it leg. Not sure if it's a left or right one yet. We will just create a sketch on the face of this gear. Let's project in. Let's see. I want that hole for sure. And this hole down here. Okay. Now I'm going to isolate it for now. We will draw a, that's not what I want. Draw a create a slot. We'll make it a center to center slot. This is just an easy way of making a rounded thing. We'll dimension that as, I don't know, 6. Sounds good. Now we'll make we'll draw a line off that. I think maybe we'll draw the leg where it runs out this way. So let's draw a line from here down to here, down to here. We're going to try to shift it to, since the battery's going to be in the front over here. I'm going to try to shift this leg over so that the center of gravity is more lined up with it. I'm going to draw a line from here. Now what did I do there? Got to talking and forgot what I was doing. I'll draw a line from here to here, down to here. Let's dimension those to, let's keep them the same as here. Radius is 6. So it's 12, I believe. I've got some constraints somewhere. I don't. Let's make those tangent. I think I've got a constraint here I don't want. Let's just delete that line. Start over again. Go up here, make these parallel. Haven't really thought out this geometry very well yet. Dimension this to 12. Same here. Might be a little on the big side, but we can always change that. It's dimension from here to here, 20, 25, and this line will dimension as, I don't know, 40. We'll see what this looks like. Close off this at the end. Perpendicular constraint from here to here. See where we're not okay. We can set an angle. From here to here. Let's make that, I don't know, 140 looks about right. Let's go over to this leg and see if the sketch is constrained. It is. So let's extrude all that. This way, I don't know, 6 millimeter. No, let's just go 5. We can change that too later. Let's unisolate that and see what it looks like. Might have got it too far out. We can just go in here and edit that. 140. Trying to decide how it's constrained. Let's make that 160 and see what it looks like. Yeah. That looks better. Now, I want this to move with this now, so we're going to try to make that happen. We're going to make we're up at our top level, assemble, as build joint. We're going to revolute this joint, that component to this component. Snap. That's where I want it, right there. That looks right. I'm going to repeat that. This component to this component. I'm going to try to get in there and same thing. And let's see if this works. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Seems to work. Let's go to joints and animate joint relationships. So that's what we're going for. That's the motion we want. Hit escape to get out of that. Revert position. I want to make sure those stay lined up so that everything is at the end of its stroke, so I know where I can put things. Let's make a foot for it. The reason I'm going to make them separate in case I want to change the design of a foot. I don't have to reprint this part again, or I want to change the design of a leg. I can just screw them together. So new component, call it a foot. We will create a sketch right here. Project in that geometry. Now, let's see. I want to do this. Let's just do it with lines. From here to here to here. Fix some of this stuff with constraints. Probably want to move that up a little. Whoa. I'm just kind of eyeballing it for now. We'll put some dimensions on there in a second. Let's make those two equal. Yeah. We will make, let's make these two equal too. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Make this one equal to that one. We're going to make a line from here, center here, to center of here. I'm going to make that a construction line, and then we're going to make it vertical. That'll constrain that, and then we can set that to, I don't know, 3. Sounds good. Make this 3 also. And from here to here we'll make 12. I'm just making this stuff up. Let's dimension this angle here. 135. In other words, 45. What have I not got dimension? Probably this length here will bring it under control. 50. I'm looking at a scale over here. See if that's about what I Yeah, let's go with 50. Can always change this. This is easy to change. Let's go down here to our foot and see if it's constrained. It is. So first of all, let's extrude this out. Let's make it 2 millimeters and that. Okay. Let's go into our sketch again. Let's offset this to give a little clearance. Point 2. Turn our sketch back on. Now let's extrude this out. Distance, let's just go here, 5.2. Let's make it 5.4. Whoops. Need a decimal point in there. Join. This might be a little thick, but we'll see. Turn that sketch off, it's in the way. See. So the idea is to screw this to this. So we need some holes. There's a hole in there. We'll create a sketch on there. Project in this. Do a circle. This is going to be the through hole, so dimension this to screw clearance. Need to lock that in place. We'll want it off the center here to here. Move a line. X to make it a dimension, or I mean a construction line, just because we'll dimension it to 4.5. That looks reasonable. These aren't critical at all. We need to make that horizontal. Now we've got a lock. Okay. Now we can extrude that hole. Distance to this object. Okay. Now I want to go back up to the leg. I want to put the hole in it. Create a sketch on here. Smack the monitor. I'm going to project in that circle. Now I want to select it. Sketch arc. Hit X to make it a construction because I don't want it interfering with my extrude. Circle, dimension, screw, thread. Should be 2.9, and it is. Extrude that all the way through. We can see, make sure we're not cutting anything but our leg. Okay. Let's go back up to the top. I like to kind of look at the whole thing every once in a while, see if I'm doing anything like what I intend to do. This foot may not be big enough. We'll see. Let's go back to working on our foot. Let's figure out how wide this is going to be. Inspect. From here to here. In the world have I done there? From here to here, 56 millimeters. Let's go down here, activate that component, our foot component. Create a sketch here. We're going to make the little things that stick out and extend over past the middle, projecting this geometry. Let's just make them square for now. A line from here and then down to here. Same over here. I don't think these are big enough, but we'll see. Let's make it 6. No, make it 5. And we'll make this one equal to this one. Alright. Now we're going to extrude. I've already forgot how wide it was. Let's just do it this way. Somewhere over here past center. Yeah. Let's make that 37. And 38. No, 36. Let's see what this all looks like now. Let's tie this to the leg. So let's assemble as built joint, rigid, this component to this component. Now let's go up to our and animate our joint and see what it looks like. Well, we'll see. Hit escape. Now, we need to make copies of these for this side so we can see if they're overlapping and hitting. Now, this one's flat on both sides, so we could just make an exact copy of it and move it over here and it would work just fine. We're going to have to mirror this one though, and that creates some problems I'll talk about in a second. But if this is flat and if we just move this over to this side, it'll work. If we mirror it and we make changes to this, it's not going to reflect our mirror unless we go back in the timeline before the mirror and make the changes. So let's try that. We'll just we'll go that route anyway. Up at our top level, modify, create, mirror. We're going to mirror a component. This component, mirror plane. Now, before I do that, let's do this. Let's create a mid-plane so it'll come out in the right place. We're going to make a plane between here and here. Now we're going to create our mirror component. Select the object, this one, the mirror plane, that. Okay. Now we need to move this down. What is it? We need to move it down to our stroke times 2, 12, or just our stroke times 2 so it'll line up with those holes. So let's try to do that. This right here. Move copy. We don't want to copy, we just want to translate straight down 12 millimeters. Hopefully that'll work. We'll know here in a second. Capture position. Now I want to make a joint between this and these two cranks or joints. Assemble as built joint. This to this. Revolute. Snap. right there. That looks right. Repeat this to this. Here. That looks right. You have a moment of truth. Is it going to lock up on us? Nope. Revert position. Let's go back up here to the top to our joints and animate the joint relationships. So far, so good. Hit escape to stop that. Now we're going to mirror this. We're going to have to do, we'll try it. Create mirror components, select the object, that foot, select the mirror plane, that mid plane we just did. Now I think if I move this down the same as I did the other 12, it'll line up right. Hope. Move copy, translate, 12. We'll capture that position. Now we'll create a assemble as built joint, rigid, this one to this one. Now we'll go up and animate joint relationships. I think we're clearing. That would be good. Could even make things bigger. If you really want to know, we can inspect section analysis and run that in like that. Okay. Now we can animate that joint. We can see them rotating around each other. Looks like we have plenty of clearance. These posts are what we're worried about. Could make them bigger, which would probably be a good thing. Try doing that. Now, unlike these gears up here that we just are copies of one another, this one and this one, because we use a mirror to create these, if I go in and change this, it's not going to reflect on this one, or it never has in the past. We'll try it, see. See, it's this one that I created first. Go down here and let's make a slight change and see what happens. I don't know, let's put a chamfer on it. That's an easy thing to change. Let's just put this chamfer on here. Okay. Go back up to the top. Make sure we're at the end of our timeline, and you can see this did not reflect onto this one. That's really not what we want in this case, because we're going to be identical, just mirrors. So let's undo that. Control Z or whatever. What we need to do is move the timeline back before we did the mirror. So let's, and then edit it. So, see, these are, here's the mirror where we mirrored it. This is a component right there. So, what's this? Extrude, where we did that. Let's right click, roll history marker to here. Now let's activate that component. This one. Before you can see the other one's not showing up because it's in the timeline. It hasn't been created yet. Kind of a back to the future thing. Now let's go over to, let's make, what are we doing here? Let's make those bigger. Let's make them 6. How thick were they? 3mm by 6mm. Yeah, that'll work. Now, if we get out of here, go back up to the top. I'll try to do this so that it makes sense, because it took me a long time to figure out what was going on when as far as this stuff goes. I'll just play this back one at a time. See, joint, mirror plane. That's where we created our mirror, right there. So we were before that. So hopefully these are going to be the same length, 6 and 6. Yeah, that worked. Gets confusing. Let's animate that again, just for fun. Oh, I wanted to turn on my section analysis, so I can make sure we're not interfering. That looks good. So that's the basis of what we're doing. I have a basic idea of what we're doing here. These clawfoots, making these revolve around each other. Turn off that section analysis. Now I want to get something I can actually print. So what we need to do, we need a way of holding that motor in. So what we want to do to finish this part of it, we want to make a motor mount clamp or something to hold that motor down, and a way of mounting this battery, and a switch. I want to do those 3 things. This is 27 minutes in. So let's go up here. New component. Let's call it motor clamp. I want to do this. I think I'll do it the way I did it on my last one. I'll just make a little thing that pops down from the top and gets screwed through here. It just holds it that way. We will try that. So, first of all, let's go back up out of that component. We want to extend these walls up, so we got a little place for our clamp to feed down into, and then we'll put holes in the side of those walls to hold it in. So what's that? Yeah, that's for construction for a mirror. I'll turn that off. Gets kind of confusing. So we could, there's many ways to do this in Fusion. We can go back in our timeline to sketch we created this with, or we can just grab these up right now and extrude them up to here. So let's get them back into our frame. I'm just going to do the easy thing. Extrude. We're going to extrude distance to object. Actually, let's try that. Don't really need to go that far though. So let's just go distance. We know that's 7.8 millimeters. Let's just go 5 millimeters. We'll leave it down a little bit. I think we can still get our screws in there. Okay. Let's isolate that frame. I want to make some holes through there. I want to bring that motor back in though. I'm going to make some holes in here for some screws to go through. Right here. Create a sketch on that. Don't like the way that looks. We're going to project in, let's see. I'm going to project in that side of that motor. Turn off this body. I'll project that in. Bring the body back. That'll work. Now we're going to put 2 screws right here. I'm going to project in this geometry too. Just put a couple of circles here. Dimension them to be, these are going to be through clearance. They're going to be equal. I'm going to dimension them from. Now let's do it different. We'll make them select them both. Make them horizontal vertical to one another. From here we're going to be dimension. Let's make them may have to move that wall up a little more. Let's see that now. Let's make them 3. We will do that in a minute. We'll dimension them from this edge right here, and from here to here. 6 sounds good. And from, we'll just dimension them from one another. Let's make that 8. No, let's make it 16. Yeah. Okay. Now we can extrude these all the way through to the other side. Cut. Make sure we're not cutting anything but the frame. Okay. But oh, I'm just going to go ahead and this. We're going to change this till it extrudes all the way up to here. Should have done that originally. You can see it moved. Our sketch moved with our. Well, the sketch didn't move, but our holes moved with those walls moving. So that something looked funny. No, that's all right. So that's our holes we're going to use to hold our clamp in with. So let's go back down to the clamp. Trying to decide what I got isolated. I don't want to lose track of that. The frame. And we'll go down and isolate the motor clamp. Whoops. Yeah, now I want to turn that frame back on. And the motor. Okay. See, we will make a sketch on this face. We're going to slice it so we get down to there. Yeah, that might not be a good idea. We'll project in. Project in that line right there. Project. That is the end of our one end of our motor. Also want to project in. Let's project in. That line. No, this line down here is what I really want. I want to know where the end, or this one. I want to know where the end of the motor is. That one. Now I want to slice it with my other line go? Oh, project that line. Now I want to slice it. I'm going to do let's just make it a rectangle. From here over to here. We'll make a little lip that goes down like this. Trying to get this motor captured. Let's dimension this. See, let's just make, well, let's make it 26 long. This will be basically an offset for our clearance. So make this 0.2. We'll dimension this from here. I don't know, 0.6 I guess. From here to here. Let's make it what we could do. Delete that dimension. Let's project in this line here. And just make those coincident. That didn't work. Well, we'll make this point and this point horizontal, vertical. That'll work. Dimension from here to here. Let's make that 0.4. Give a little slop. And this line here, I don't know, 4. We'll see what this looks like in just a minute. Maybe lost. See where we're at on our sketch. It's fully constrained. Finish sketch. Let's extrude it from there. .4. It's just, yeah, we can go to object, pick that object, just use an offset, minus 0.4. This doesn't have to be tight. New body, okay. Now we got a block. No, we'll clear this. We'll take some of that plastic out of there in a minute. Let's see what this looks like. I think I'm going in the right direction, but I could be wrong. I'm making this all up as I go. Well, my offset wasn't in the right direction. I see that. Let's do a section analysis and see what that's doing. Well, let's leave that alone. Go back here to the extrude that created that. We forgot to add that in. I can see I'm interfering with my motor. I should have turned that motor 90 degrees, I see now. Oh well. We'll edit that sketch. Sometimes it's hard to get a sketch dimension. Some of that stuff interfering. Let's see, what am I working on? Let's turn off that. Got too many things going on here. Need to close some of these down. I'm going to turn off that motor, I think, so I can edit that sketch, make it 2. Now I want to bring my motor back. I think that'll work. We can do it. What you can do when you're having trouble like that, go down here, do your sketch. If I can get to it, right click, show dimension. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Usually you can get in there and edit that dimension then. Well, let's turn the motor off. Now we can do it. Now you can double click on the dimension, change it to 1.6. Okay. I think I'm about to get lost here. Let's turn off that section. Well, let's look at it closer. What's that dimension? 1.65. Those holes are too big. Let's go back into our motor clamp. Turn off that motor. Turn off the frame. Edit the sketch. Oh, I didn't use this. I didn't put those into a sketch. That's why. Let's bring the frame back up and project in those holes. My dog's barking at something. For some reason that didn't work. Trying to project in those holes. I think it's actually my sketch that's in the way. There we go. Now I want to make them construction. Circle. Now I know you can use the whole command for this, but I'm just not used to it. Dimension these to screw. See, these are going to be what it threads into. Thread, enter, and we'll make them equal. Now I'll go back to my extrude. What am I extruding? This. I think I'm picking up the profile off the frame when I do that. Is the frame still on? Yeah. Alright. Let's try this. Get rid of all those. But it's still the wrong size. What am I doing here? Sometimes selecting things can be a challenge. Now we're right size, 1.45. Well, that didn't go too smoothly. I'll go down and turn that to that sketch and hide hide dimensions, and turn the sketch off so it's not showing up. So where's our motor? So there's our motor. There's our little block that's going to clamp down on it. That was way more trouble than I thought it was going to be. Let's turn off the sketch. Or I mean the section analysis. So there it is. So we're going to run screws through here and they'll thread into this and hold that block in place, and that'll clamp the motor down. It could be better constrained. I could have put, if the motor had set back a little more, I could have put a lip on this end, and that would have kept it from sliding a little bit. But I think this will work. If nothing else, we could go in there and just make the frame so it can't slide. That can be modified later. Okay, now we got to put a place for the battery and the switch. We're just going to make a, where's the battery at? Battery box. To that, we're just going to put a plate on here, and I'll double side tape it for now. So, frame. I'm going to isolate it. Create a sketch on it. Project all that in. And we'll just draw some lines to close it up. And extrude, see, does it matter which way I extrude it? We'll go out for now. Only like 1.6, doesn't have to be very thick. This will be where the side it'll print from. Now I need to make a, where am I going to put the switch? Our battery's going to be over here. I need to move it a little, but that's irrelevant. Just put the switch right here. I can make a mount. I believe it'll fit right in there. Don't think that'll be a problem. So we'll put the switch where it sticks out the other side from here. Let's go back into our frame. Let's isolate it. Where's the switch at? Let's see if we can't move it into place. So, move copy. No, we want to be at the top level before we do any move copying. I don't know if it matters or not, but I want to be there. Move copy. First thing I want to do, we'll do a free move. We're just going to rotate it 90 degrees. Okay. Now we're going to translation. I think this is where the downside. We can get a leg. Yeah, that's down. We'll put it right smack dab in the middle. We're pretty close to it. That's close enough. We will run it down. I'll try to use the align tool. I never use it hardly at all. To put this face on this face. Did that work? Yeah. Okay. Now I can't check to see if we're on center. Let's go ahead and do that. It'll bug me if I don't. We'll measure from here to here, and from here to here. 15. I've already forgot my over dimension. It's getting late. Yeah, we're the same. So that's where our switch is going to be. So let's activate the frame. Create a sketch there. I want to capture a position for sure. Now we're going to project in. P for project. Those lines. Yeah. I'm going to hide that switch for a minute, I think. Offset that by chain selection. Offset it by minus point. Let's just go 0.2. I think that'll work. Now we're going to offset again. By minus 2.2. Make little walls that are 2 millimeters thick. That's alright. Finish sketch. Guess I got it too close to the edge. Extrude. It's alright. See. Let's bring that switch back up. See how far I want to extrude it. Four. Sounds good. Okay, now I want to my switch. Go down here, create a sketch. I want to make clearance for the little knob on the switch to go through. Project this in. Line. This is so I can find the center, which is the way I do it. There's more than one way of doing it for sure. X. Now I want to do a rectangle. A line on it, go in the opposite direction. X to make it construction. Now I want to midpoint that to that. That should put them in the center. Now I just need to dimension this. Down there where I can see it. And I've got the switch over here. Let's see how much slide it's got. Can't remember what I normally use. 4. We'll dimension this. I think 2. I want to get a little. Let's make it 2.5. No need in getting too close. Now we're going to extrude that. To the bottom. And isolate it. Bring that switch back in. Okay, where are we at here? We got our switch, place for our battery. Battery. Got it all moving. Can you print it? This should be able to print no problem flat on the bed. This can print with this on the bed. These can print with this end on the bed. The gears, no problem. That gear, no problem printing. The cranks will print. The legs will print. And the feet can be printed just the way they look right there. Don't let everything might do. Oh, what am I with time? 55. Well, I won't do it because of time. Probably want to move this switch and put a clamp, little cap on it so it can screw it in place. But for testing, it'll be fine just to put some hot glue on there. Because this is not the final version, I'm sure. Never has been. So let's make sure it's still moving. First, make sure we're at the end of our timeline. At the top of our tree and at the end of our timeline. Animate the joint relationships. The direction is irrelevant, backward or forward. That's just going to be how we wire our motor up. I bet this thing will print on that Bambu Lab Mini in just probably the whole thing in a couple of hours. So I believe that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to print it and show if it worked or not. That'll be interesting. Can't see anything I've done wrong. If I've done something wrong, I won't just fix it and pretend I didn't do it wrong. I'll show you. So let's save this. We'll save this as into video 2. That way if I have to come back to this spot, I can. You can always go back to different versions on this software. I mean, not the software versions. You can go back to different versions of your design in case you screw something up and you realize that you made a mistake many times back, and that's a handy thing to have. Okay, we got it saved. I'm going to call the video quits here. The next thing we'll see is if it printed and if it's working or not. Thanks for watching. Or no, I'll probably tag the print onto the end of this video. Well, I've got the parts off the printer, and here's the results. We made a couple of mistakes, for sure. These holes are too small. They're, I think I just used the projections from the threaded hole in there, so these need to be moved out to like 3.3 millimeter. I drilled these two out to see if it would work. And the shafts, I think these turned out fine. These cranks, they do fit, but they're so loose they need to be changed. So I'm going to tighten that dimension up there for holding that on. They really ought to fit pretty snug. The tolerances here seem pretty good. I did hit it just barely with a Liquavis file, but I think I would rather have them a little too tight and be able to just file out a couple of parts than too loose. That's a matter of opinion, though. So I think that's acceptable. So I think the frame is okay. I believe this will work also. These have to be kept in time or they act funny. If they were captured, it would be all right. But this is all, will all loosen up. So that's okay. The motor, this little motor clamp, I believe that will hold the motor in. I'm not too happy with the amount of clearance I have. Hopefully that's visible. Right here, I may do some modifications on this motor clamp. What else do I need? See, well, mostly that's it. So not too bad. We'll make the changes and print up. Just have to reprint these parts and the legs again. The foot fit on the leg just fine. So that's what we're going to change in the next video.